Good evening, everyone. It's good to have you here. I'd like to welcome you to the City of Sioux Falls City Council meeting of Monday, September 20th. If I could have a roll call vote, or let's see who's here tonight, shall we?
Council members Erpenbach? Here. Jameson?
Here.
Litz?
Here.
Rolfing?
Here.
Aguilar? Anderson?
Here.
Brown?
Here.
Entenmann?
Here. Thank you, City Council. We have 7 City Council members here tonight. It's great to have you here. Also great to have it here tonight is Dr. Ron Tottingham, who is a regular here at the City Council meetings, and we're quite pleased by that. He's also from Empire Baptist Temple, and he will lead us in our invocation tonight. And then following that, if you could just please remain standing, and we'll have a Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you.
Our Heavenly Father, tonight, thank you for the privilege and honor to be able to be here and to live in such a great city. I pray that you'd bless now the council members. All have different agendas, different thoughts. We need the leading of our Lord in this place to guide us, that this city would go in the direction that it ought to go, and that the God who made the city would be lifted and honored in all the things that we do. And we pray again that you'd bless us now tonight in all the deliberations in this place. It's a big impact on the people of this city, what happens here, and we need you to be the guide in all of that. And I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. This is on? Great. Good evening, everyone. I've got 2 proclamations tonight. I'd like to start with Susan Cliff, please, if Susan would come forward. Welcome, Susan. It's good to have you here. Proclamation, whereas serious mental illnesses such as major depression, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, obsessive-compulsive disorder, severe anxiety disorders, borderline personality disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorders affect 1 in every 4 people annually, whereas severe mental illnesses are more common than cancer, diabetes, and heart disease, and are the #1 reason for hospital admissions nationwide, whereas serious mental illnesses have been scientifically proven to be highly treatable illnesses of the brain, whereas scientific research is producing tremendous breakthroughs in the understanding of mental illnesses, resulting in more effective treatments that allow people to reclaim full and productive lives. Whereas misunderstandings exist about many mental illnesses, and our social culture often wrongly imposes stigma upon them. Whereas Sunday, October 3rd, 2010, marks the beginning of National Mental Illness Awareness Week, and NAMI Sioux Falls is sponsoring a vigil and candlelight walk with the goal of lighting the path to understanding. Now, therefore, I'm Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through the 9th, 2010 as National Mental Illness Awareness Week. Thank you, Susan. Cindy Schultz, please. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to rule by law. Whereas September 17th, 2010 marks the 223rd anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. Whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize this magnificent document and the anniversary of its creation. Whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate the occasion. Whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through the 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Mike Huther, Mayor of the City of Sioux Falls, do hereby proclaim September 17th through September 23rd, 2010 as Constitution Week in Sioux Falls, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals of the framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through this guardian of our liberties. Thank you, Cindy. City Council, can I have a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, please?
So moved, Erpenbach.
Second, Anderson.
There's been a motion by Councilor Erpenbach, seconded by Councilor Anderson, Jr. to approve tonight's consent agenda. Any discussion? Being none, if I could have a roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Entenmann.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve tonight's regular agenda?
So moved. Let's. Second, Entman.
A motion by Councilor Litz, seconded by Councilor Entenmann to approve tonight's regular agenda. Any discussion at all? Hearing none, if I could have a roll call vote, please.
Council members Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Entenmann.
Yes.
That is passed 7-0. Thank you, City Council. I'd like to welcome you all tonight to tonight's City Council meeting. A number of things on the agenda. If there is anything that you'd like to speak to the City Council about that is not on tonight's agenda, please feel free to come forward now. All we'd ask is that you just state your name, please. Sir, welcome.
My name is Melvin Vandentop from Sioux Falls.
Sir, would you mind just coming a little closer? Thank you so much.
My name is Melvin Vandentop from Sioux Falls, and I've spoken with you before, but I'd just like you to consider that the issues that you're facing with the budget problems have more to do with a larger picture than a local issue. We've been having a financial meltdown in this country for the last several years, and there seems to be a denial of that, especially among leadership circles. And so, therefore, I'm just calling to attention this council's refusal in December of 2007 to acknowledge the call for a resolution to Congress for the Homeowners and Bank Protection Act when the so-called subprime mortgage crisis was ongoing and in full force. This council told our organization, the LaRouche Political Action Committee, that the problem was not expected to affect South Dakota or Sioux Falls. The foreclosures are rising. Now the city government is with its back against the wall because of the budget crisis. This is the same going on all over the country, and so we're just asking you to bear in mind that the problems that's being created is not too many hands reaching out for help or programs or employment, but the speculators that have created this crisis in the beginning, in the first place. We're $17 trillion of a loss in our government, and you, the city, everyone in this city is expected to pay for it, for the losses created by unbridled speculation, rampant speculation. And so we're asking that you consider a resolution to Congress to support the reinstatement of the Glass-Steagall law, which protected individuals, governments, and businesses since 1934, when it was understood after the commission that explored why the meltdown of the 29 happened, that it was unbridled speculation, derivatives trading, and a loss of the general understanding that the Constitution of the United States, which you just talked about honoring, needs to be foremost in the mind of everyone making decisions that affect any part of this country, which is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all people, not just for certain individuals. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else who'd like to speak to the City Council? Well, very good. Thank you so much. We'll now move on to the regular agenda. Item number 12, please.
New 2010 retail wine license for Libation Station, LLC, Libation Station, to be operated at 5009 Southwestern Avenue, Suite 200, with a conditional use permit, 2010-0703, being approved on 8/4 of 10. 13, new 2010 11 package malt beverage South Dakota Farm Winery license for SWR Inc., Senior Wiener Restaurant, to be operated at 3504 West 41st Street. 14, new 2010 package liquor license for Lewis Drug Inc., Lewis on Louise, to be operated at 6109 South Louise Avenue. 15, new 2010 package liquor license for Salamata Mini Mart LLC, Salamata Mini Mart, to be operated at 812 East 10th Street. 16, rescind 2010 11 package malt beverage license issued to Salamata Mini Mart LLC, Salamata Mini Mart, 812 East 10th Street. 17, new 2010 retail wine license for Hy-Vee Inc., Hy-Vee Food Store Number 7, to be operated at 2700 West 10th Street. 18, transfer of a 2010 packaged liquor license from Laverne Supermarket, Inc., Sunshine Foods Number 3, 2700 West 10th Street, to Hy-Vee Inc., Hy-Vee Food Store Number 7, to be operated at 2700 West 10th Street. 19, transfer of a 2010 packaged liquor license from Laverne Supermarket, Inc., Sunshine Foods, 1231 East 57th Street, to Hy-Vee Inc., Hy-Vee Food Store Number 6, to be operated at 1231 East 57th Street. 20, transfer of a 2010 11 package malt beverage license from Laverne Supermarket, Inc., Sunshine Gas Number 9, 1229 East 57th Street, to Hy-Vee Inc., Hy-Vee Food Store Number 6 Gas, to be operated at 1229 East 57th Street. 21, transfer of 2010 11 retail malt beverage license from Inca's Mexican Restaurant, Sioux Falls, Inc., Inca's Mexican Restaurant, 3312 South Holly Avenue, to D&D Restaurants, Inc., Inca's Mexican Restaurant, to be operated at 3312 South Holly Avenue. 22, transfer of a 2010 retail wine license from Inca's Mexican Restaurant, Sioux Falls, Inc., Inca's Mexican Restaurant, 3312 South Holly Avenue, to D&D Restaurants, Inc., Inca's Mexican Restaurant, to be operated at 3312 South Holly Avenue. 23, special one-day liquor license for a Realtor Association of the Sioux Empire, to be operated at Sharapa Place, 300 North Sharapa Place, on September 23, 2010, for the Realtors for Kids fundraiser. 24, special one-day malt beverage and wine licenses for the Avira McKinnon Foundation, to be operated at Perspective, 196 East 6th Street, on October 22, 2010, for the Paint the Night Pink fundraiser.
Thank you. Hi, Lori.
Hi. Thank you, Jamie. Lori Hogstead with the City Attorney's Office, representing items 12 through 24. I can answer questions on any of these items you may have.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to any of these items that we've just read? If you do, please come forward at this time. All right. Seeing none, Councilor Jameson.
I just need to step out, Mayor, if I could, on item number 23. So either I'll step out for all the vote or just that item, but probably easier if I just step out for all of them.
City Council, any comments or discussion on these items?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, Councilor Lentz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Lori, I see there's some comments in here about the the drinking that's going on between the walkway between the K-9 clipping post and what was Art's Auto Care. And
Yes.
I was curious, is that whose walkway is that? Are we talking about the alley, or is there a space between the two buildings that this is going on at?
Well, from what I understand, there's a space between the two buildings, although a car would not be able to fit through there. It's a walkway, and there's some shrubbery and things in there, and people tend to walk through there to get to the K-9 clipping post, or maybe to the gas station, I'm not sure. But I'm not certain who owns that. We do have the applicant here tonight, if you would like to ask him.
We don't know. Does this run east and west, or is it a north-south access? Because I'm trying to put it in my mind where this is at.
Well,
I know where the K-9 clipping post is.
right, and Arts is to the west of that.
Arts is to the east of the K-9.
To the east of
Yes, it would
K-9?
be.
Oh, okay. All right.
I guess, have we heard from anybody at the K-9 clipping post or anybody else, or has there been an excess of police reports concerning this activity back in there?
I'm not aware of police reports. The last time I heard from someone at the K-9 clipping post, it's been several years ago. I just wanted to bring it to your attention because we had that discussion regarding Whittier Park where there was a laundromat, and I forget the name of it, that they used to have beer, and then they went to liquor, and that was a discussion here when that young woman brought up the situation at Whittier Park. So I just thought we would bring it to your attention.
Yes, and I appreciate that, Lori. I think that, if you're going to be selling alcohol, I think there is some responsibility for the environment right outside your door in which you do that. And if people are
Correct.
consuming it, I don't know if it's illegal or not. That's why I was asking whose property it was. If it's a city thoroughfare, I'm not sure about the legality of it either. I guess that's a question that's in my mind.
Sure. I don't know that it's a city thoroughfare. It's probably either owned, I know the K-9 clipping post owns their property, and the applicant, I believe, is working to purchase the property that Arts was on, and I'm not sure where the dividing line would be for those two.
Very good. Thank you, Lori.
All right.
City Council, would anybody like to make a motion on these items?
Move to approve. Anderson.
Second, Erpenbach.
It's been a motion by Councilor Anderson Jr., seconded by Councilor Erpenbach to approve the items that have been read tonight. Any further discussion? Hearing none, can we have a roll call vote, please?
Council members Erpenbach,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Intiman.
Yes.
That is passed 6-0 with one abstaining. Item number 25, please. These are all first readings.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, providing appropriations and the means of financing for the fiscal year ending December 31, 2011.
Gene Rowenhorst, Director of Finance for the City of Sioux Falls. This is the appropriation part of the budget. Then this is the first reading for it. The second reading will be, I forget the dates, but it's a couple weeks now.
Monday, October 4th.
October 4th will be the second reading. We can answer any questions if you'd like, or try to.
Item 25, or 26, I'm sorry.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and revised ordinances of the city. The promotion transfer provisions of Section 30-37B.
Bill O'Toole, Director of Human Resources. I'll be brief. 3037B is simply the framework that tells the Human Resources Department how we put names on a certified eligible list after we do promotion testing and or interviewing. This change simply specifies that the only manner in which we create and place certified eligible lists based on test scores is for the police non-management employees. Everybody else is done based on alphabetical order. The only impact this has for the City of Sioux Falls employees is in the management ranks for police and fire, and both police and fire chiefs are in support of the amendment. Be happy to take any questions.
Thank you, Bill. Item 27, please.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, rezoning property at 704 South Cleveland Avenue from the RD Residential District to the C2 General Commercial District, petition number 2010-0718, and amending the official zoning map of the City of Sioux Falls. The Planning Commission recommends denial.
Mike Cooper, Planning and Building Services. This property is located on the east side of Cleveland Avenue between 13th and 14th Streets. The property is owned by Doug and Lucille Langdon. The property is currently vacant, and the history of this property is that it was used for auto retail, auto repair, as well as a residential. The property has been vacant for approximately 2 years. The history of this is that prior to the property being brought into the city limits, there was an auto repair operation being operated. When it was brought into the city through annexation, it was classified as a legal non-conforming use, which meant that the use was allowed even though it was not in conformance with the current city zoning requirements. And so over the time since then, of the 1970s, it continued to operate. One of the buildings had a structural fire in the 1990s. There was some repair work done on it. And then for a while, there was some used car sales conducted on the property as well. Because the property has been vacant for more than 1 year, it no longer has that legal non-conforming status. And since the property is currently zoned residential, the owners have been trying to sell it, and through their realtor, they were trying to get the property classified as commercial because of the historical use of it for the repair business. So the only remedy that we were able to propose was to represent the property owners as the planning office and bring it forward as a request to rezone it to commercial, with the idea that it would be really up to the neighborhood, like any other land use hearing, to determine what the desires would be. So at the Planning Commission public hearing, we did hear quite loudly from the surrounding property owners that they would like it to continue to be limited to some type of residential classification. Under the current residential zoning, the property could be used for up to a fourplex apartment structure. It could be a group home, could be a daycare center, could be a bed and breakfast establishment. It could even be used as a private club through a conditional use permit application. So there are some options there with the existing residential zoning. With the commercial zoning, obviously that would open it up to quite a long list of retail type land uses that may or may not be compatible with this residential setting. So that's kind of the dilemma that we are at with this property, is that the owners are trying to sell it for something other than residential purposes, but with the current zoning, they would not be allowed to do that. So you'll have an opportunity to make that decision at the second reading of this proposal.
Councilor Jameson.
Mike, you referred to it as a legal non-conforming. What was that?
It was considered a legal non-conforming use, the auto repair business, but since it's now been vacant for more than 1 year, that is no longer the situation.
Mike, would that commonly be known as grandfathered in?
Yes, sir. That's the common term.
Yes, Councilor Ruffing.
On the left-hand, I'm sorry. I see that now. Cleveland Avenue here is on the left. North is...
Yes.
Okay, so you drive in. Was the building in the back, is that the one that burned?
I believe so, yes. Because it had a new roof put on it in the 90s.
Is that all that happened? It had a new roof put on it?
It's primarily roof damage, I believe, yes.
And when was that building put in?
I don't know the exact date. I know that the use of it goes back to before the 1970s when it was annexed.
Okay. And all these other buildings, the two other buildings?
Yes.
Are all before that, too?
I believe so.
Thank you.
Councilor Anderson, Jr.
Okay, Mike. This has been an issue for several years. I do know that Doug and Lucille spoke to former council member Staggers about this, and last year, I think you and I discussed this a little bit too. As far as changing to a commercial, now for any business that goes in there, would they have to get a conditional use permit first?
No, if it was zone resident, or excuse me, if it was zone commercial, what we call permissive uses, which means you just get a building permit, would be printing plant. Again, some of these are probably not feasible, but printing plant, motor vehicle service station, gas dispensing station, a drive-up service window, commercial parking lot, medical office, and under certain requirements of spacing, there could even be adult uses, car wash, veterinarian, general retail trade and service. So there's a lot of things that potentially could go in there without an additional public hearing.
But isn't most of the issues parking?
I would say yes. A lot of cases, the use is going to be limited because of the available parking spaces on the property.
Ms. Cooper, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you. And
Mayor,
both-
I just
yes,
have-
Councilor Anderson, Jr.
On the north side of that square, that's a residential on the side street then too?
Yes, that's correct. It's surrounded on all four sides by
Right.
residential.
And then Cleveland Avenue is
Yep.
the front. They used to sell cars out of the front, right?
Yes, in addition to the auto repair. So this has been going on since the 1970s when it was brought into the city limits.
Mr. Cooper, thank you.
Okay.
And for the folks in the audience, as well as for the people that are watching at home, what we're doing is we're just going through the first reading, and it gives not only the department heads an opportunity to talk to the city council about this topic, but also, if there are folks out there who want to express their opinions one way or the other to the city council or to me as the mayor, feel free to contact us. But the appropriate time to really do that will be on Monday, October 4th, in terms of if you want to have public testimony on that. So let's move on to the next item, and that is
Mr.
item
Mayor?
number... Yeah, I'm sorry, Councilor Rolfing, my apologies.
It says in our notes that you had, there's been some neighbors that have expressed some views on this,
Well, at the Planning Commission hearing, there was neighborhood opposition to the rezoning.
fairly strong.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
My apologies, Councilor
No,
Rolfing.
that's fine.
No further discussion. Thank you. Item number, let's see, 27. 28.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, a major amendment, petition number 2010-0801 to Chapter 15.45.070, Plan Development Districts at South Solberg Avenue, south of West 57th Street, and west of South Louise Avenue, amending the West 57th Street Number 2 Plan Development District Sub-Area Regulations. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This is a property that consists of approximately 25 acres of land area. The owner is Peter Gower Corporation. Back in 1997, at the request of the property owner, there was a plan development zoning district established for this area. And within this portion of the plan development district, the uses were primarily limited to what we would call a traditional business park with offices and some limited retail or warehouse uses. The property remains vacant to this day, and because of the changes in the market and the growth of this area of Sioux Falls, this is north of Interstate 229, east of Interstate 29, west of Louise, south of 57th. The property owners now are looking at marketing some of this for other uses such as hotel, motel, and additional retail. So the uses that were established in 1997 are being requested for what we call a major amendment to add the hotel, motel, and other retail type uses to this particular area. And the Planning Commission has made a recommendation to approve this amendment request.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cooper. Could I get a motion to create a second reading date, please?
Move to approve, Litz.
Could we,
Councilor Ruffin.
I would like to make a motion that we would pull number 28 out of there so that I could excuse myself on that one because of the proximity of my employer. Please?
There's been a motion to remove item number 28. Does that mean, Councilor Ruffin, you want to approve
The rest of
25
it.
through 27?
27, right.
Thank you. Is there a second on that, please?
Second, Litz.
There's been a motion to approve items number 25 through 27 to set the second reading of those to Monday, October 4th, 2010. Any further discussion? A roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
That is passed 7-0.
Move to set the date of hearing for item number 28.
Second, Erpenbach.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. There's been a motion to approve item number 28, the second reading for Monday, October 4th. That has been seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
Thank you. That is passed 6-0, with one abstaining. Number 29, please.
A resolution vacating the public right-of-way on track number 57 of County Odd Subdivision in the NE 1/4 of Section 8-T101N-R49W, Minnehaha County, South Dakota, Northeast Avenue from West Blackhawk Street to West Algonquin Street.
Welcome, Chad.
Good evening, Chad Hebe with the Engineering Division of Public Works. This improved right-of-way is between the airport and Russell Street, west of Minnesota Avenue. The petitioner is Raven Industries. Their intention is to place detachable piping at the south end of the vacated right-of-way. This piping will then transport plastic resin from storage facilities on the east side of the vacated right-of-way to the manufacturing facility on the west side of the vacated right-of-way. A utility easement will be maintained. A public meeting was held on September 1st. Attendees included representatives from the following neighbors: Belmark Properties, the Air Guard, and Daniels Olson. Two issues were raised during that public meeting. Up till about 5:30 this afternoon, I was under the impression that they both had been handled, but I believe now there may be another issue that's arose, and so I do believe there's others here that wish to speak.
If there is anyone here who would like to speak against this, we would ask you to come forward, please. Just state your name. Sir, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Michael Donnelly, and I'm the general manager of Daniels Olson. And I want to be really clear on this. I wouldn't say that we're opposed to this. As a matter of fact, everyone at Raven has been absolutely spectacular to work with. Nobody has given us any kind of trouble or anything. Everything's fine. An issue comes up really for this, and that is as the general manager of Daniels Olson. This afternoon, Raven Industries and myself came to a general idea, general discussion of a solution to some of the issues that we had, which is traffic flow from East Street into our facility. Unfortunately, we received that email at about 2:30 this afternoon. That was not any intentional delay. That's just the nature of how it went. And I was unable to secure approval from the corporate office in Maple Grove, Minnesota. And so I'm not asking anyone to reject this particular change. I'm simply asking for more time so that the landowners can approve what we've discussed with Raven. At this point, I have yet to be able to secure that. And so I'm really asking for just a deferment on that, if it's possible.
Councilor Litz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mike, how long of a deferment would you be asking for? 2 or 3 weeks?
I would say at the most.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good.
Chad, would you want to speak at all? Or any other questions, first of all, of Mr. Donnelly? Chad? Thank you, Mr. Donnelly.
If there is a deferment, I would respectfully request that it's October 12th.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in the audience who would like to speak in opposition of this, please? Sir, just state your name. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. My name is Jason Sutton, and I'm an attorney with the Boyce Greenfield Law Firm here in Sioux Falls, and I represent Raven Industries, and so you understand, and I apologize if I speak out of turn, but based upon our communications, I believe Mr. Donnelly would be the only person that would be speaking, asking for a deferment or objecting to the vacation process. At this point, so you understand, Raven's position is we would object to a deferment, and the reason is this. We understand the problem, or the concern for the landowner, but what you did not hear is what their objection is. And when you look up at item number 29 that's up on the screen, council members, E Avenue, which is between Algonquin and Blackhawk, it's a stub street. On one side you've got Raven, the other side you've got another Raven property and Bell property, all of which who agree to vacating this. Bell wants to expand, Raven wants to expand. Daniels Olson has been using that portion of E Avenue, as I understand it, to back their trucks into their property, which abuts on the south side of Blackhawk. Now, one response is, okay, pull past, back into your property. The bigger issue, and why we, I guess, object to a deferment on this, is it's our understanding that that's an impermissible use anyway, because you cannot use a public right-of-way to access your docks. And when we spoke with the city engineer's office, and certainly I would invite them to confirm, there's not an ordinance directly on point on this, but my understanding is that engineering standards indicate that if you've been doing it, in other words, pulling across the street, backing back in across that street to your docks, in an industrial park, will grandfather you in. But if you go to the city engineering office and say, we want to expand to our docks, we want to increase or change our access, we want a new curb cut, they're going to say no. They're not going to allow you to pull in and back across the street. And that's the issue here. That's why the objection is they want to be able to come down Blackhawk, pull up onto E Avenue, that short little stub street, and then back directly into their property, across 2 lanes of traffic and a railroad crossing. Now, part of this is delay, what's the harm, let's allow them to have their say. Raven's concern is essentially this. I mean, July we started this process and we filed the petition. We've got contractors, as I understand it, who are ready to go to start this expansion process as soon as we make it past the referendum period. So as a result, we would ask that the City Council address the petition at this time, and with that, we leave it to you unless you have any questions.
Mr. Donnelly, what, just in the spirit of helping us understand, no, I'm sorry, Mr. Sutton. Okay. I apologize. Mr. Sutton, just in terms of helping all of us understand, what do you believe is the reason for the delay then? You started this in July. It's now almost, we're nearing Halloween time. What do you think is going on?
No, I think it's just a matter of the process. I don't think that anybody has been nefarious. I don't think, and I don't think Mr. Donnelly would agree or disagree with this, that everybody's cooperating, everybody's working together here. But between the time it took for Raven and Bell to reach their agreement as it related to the vacation process, working together, getting the petition filed, the statutory notice requirement, and then getting the hearing here, it just takes time. So I'm not suggesting anybody's doing anything incorrectly or trying to delay the process.
Mr. Sutton, thank you. Mr. Heavey, any comments before we invite Mr. Donnelly back up, please?
Their statements are correct. We do have a design standard or engineering design standards that does not allow vehicles to back through public right-of-way to access a business. The only people we do allow are, of course, residential, so they can get out of their driveways. But the fact is we do have several businesses in the city, whether they're in that industrial area or not, that don't have an option. The only way to access their loading dock is backing through public right-of-way. So if I could use the term grandfathered in, as you did earlier, some of these businesses are allowed that movement. But if they come in and anywhere in Sioux Falls, even up here, and say, we want to build a new facility and back through the right-of-way to access it, the answer is no.
Mr. Donnelly, did you have a follow-up comment for the City Council?
I do, and I appreciate the attorney for Raven's comments. I just want to reiterate that, as I said to you already, that the issue that I have is that I represent an organization in Minnesota. And so I do not have the authority to, and as I said, we've already come up with something that I think is a reasonable solution to this matter. It has nothing to do with backing up trucks. As a matter of fact, the first time that I heard that that was even illegal, frankly, was when we had our first meetings. And it was sort of eye-opening to a few people in that room. And so we're willing to work around that. I mean, we have to. But that's not our issue. What our issue is that I don't have the authority to approve the agreement that I got at 2:37 this afternoon in 2 hours without corporate approval. And so, you know, if in fact I could ask you guys to just give me a little bit more time than 2 hours to get some approval from corporate, which I think is reasonable. The backing up issue is not a component of this agreement. I have copies of it. I have a copy of the time the email got to my computer, too, if anyone would like to see that. So my issue isn't about trucking. My issue is about my authority and the landowner. Daniels Olson is as wonderful as Raven is, and again, great neighbors, and we expect a very amiable and very well-intentioned future together in that part of the city. Daniels Olson has been there for 50 years. Dale Ware, whom many of you know, owned Daniels Olson, a very benevolent man to the city. I'm not convinced that asking for a couple of weeks extension is an enormous issue, given the fact that legitimately I had at 2:37 this afternoon the final email sort of confirming what we had been discussing. So, but this doesn't have to do with backing up trucks down that road. This has to do with my authority and signing for a company that I don't have the authority to approve that.
Mr. Donnelly, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak for or against this item? Sir, welcome.
Mr. Mayor and Council, I'm David Bailey with Bell Incorporated. In the areas that we're talking about vacating, we're also going to propose that we want to add on to that, onto our building, expand it to about another 25,000 square feet. Presently, we just put a new press in last year, and we've been getting new business, putting on new people, new jobs. We're in process right now of looking at putting another press in, which we need the warehouse space to expand so we can put more paper in and keep our process running. Like I say, Raven and Daniels, we've all talked about it. It's been good. It's just that we're getting pressed a little bit to see if we can get all of our ducks in a row to expand our warehouse to keep our business running. And at the present time, we'd like to see this done so that we can proceed with our building and finish up.
And Mr. Bailey, so it sounds like you're recommending we move forward tonight.
Yes,
versus
if we can. We're
all right.
Getting pressed for time also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak to this item tonight? Very good. City Council, any questions or a motion to? Yes, Councilor Jameson.
Mayor, if I could ask Chad a couple of questions. Chad, could you help me with the process here again on street vacation? Who owns which property and how much, and just all the rules involved in vacating the street?
Well, first of all, I will say it, we tell everybody it's a 90-day process from petition, public hearing, and then action to the council. The property, all the property on the west side of E Avenue is owned by Raven. And all of the property on the east side, except for the northeast corner, that dark building up there, that is, the dark building is owned by Bellmark. And then everything south of there is also owned by Ravens. And then Daniels and Olson is just right there. And the petition, to be a valid petition, it has to be signed by 100% of the property owners, which in this case is Raven and Bellmark. And so, it's a valid petition. They've complied with all of our policy and state law. Does that answer your questions?
Yes.
All right.
Councilor Anderson, Jr.
Chad, you stated earlier that if we were going to defer this, you were asking for October 12th. Would October 4th work also, or?
Yes, it would.
I mean, that cuts it down to where it's only really 2 weeks. And
my request was just a matter of selfishness. So I have several items on the 12th, but I can be here on the 4th. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you.
I'll be honest.
Councilor Rolfing.
Chad, what you're saying is that we really, the Daniels petition here, or corporate approval, is not even really needed.
It isn't for,
legal purposes.
It's valid. No, I think it's more of a neighborly gesture.
Neighborly thing.
Yes.
Okay. Would you come forward again, Scott? Do you anticipate any problems from your corporate?
Honestly, I really don't. As a matter of fact, when Councilman suggested the 4th, if there's a way to approve this with a contingency of a couple of days, and I don't know if there's a way to do that or if it has to come back fully, again, that's up to you guys, but there's a clarification on the property line, too, and I know it doesn't border the street, but it is, Daniels Olson does own from that avenue all the way across, that full line that bores there. Thank you. And so, it is an avenue that we do have regular traffic flow to. Even though we don't border that particular street, we do have incoming loads, we do have outbound loads, we do have employees and so forth.
So if we run into a problem with this on the 4th, we could be looking at this again at the second reading if we needed to. Right?
My personal opinion is we're not going to have any problems on the 4th.
Now, wait a minute. Let me understand. You two are shaking your heads.
This is not a first reading. This is a resolution. It goes tonight or it doesn't.
This is it. If we approve it, it's approved. This is it, Rex.
Councilor Rolfing, there will be a motion to
This is the resolution.
move forward or not, and then
Hearings
we'll
and
be fine.
resolution. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought this was first reading. Okay.
Can I ask one question? When you say to go forward, or then it's over, they can't do it at all? I don't want that either. I think we can find. Can you? I just sort of overheard what you were talking about there. I just want to make sure I'm clear on this. If we get our deferment, the resolution is finished for them. We don't want that.
No.
Okay.
No. If we what I said was that I was thinking this was the first reading and the second reading.
Oh,
that would be the.
I got you.
Yeah. Okay.
So just wanted to clarify because we're not trying to be bad neighbors here.
No, I don't think anybody is. That's
Good.
the thing. I was hoping we could do it a different way.
City Council, would somebody like to make a motion?
I'll move to approve, Mr.
Councilor Brown's made a motion to approve. Is there a second?
Second, Erpenbach.
Seconded by Councilor Erpenbach. There's been a motion to approve, and it has been seconded on item number 29. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Litz?
Would it be appropriate at this time to make a substitute motion, or are we going to? Okay.
You're not welcome to, sir.
As I look at this here, this street's probably been here since the base was new. Or they built the base. I'm sure the government drew the designs up for this here. It's a north-south kind of street there. Affects D&O's access. We're going to close this street. It's a gift of property to the adjacent property owners. It has never been part of that property before. It's a free gift. It's going to be that way. in perpetuity, at least as long as I'm alive. And I often, what the thing that occurs to me is if the shoe was on the other foot, if you folks had gotten a notice at 2:30 this afternoon, would you be down here asking what Mr. Donnelly is doing? And, to that end, I know 2 weeks, we're getting into October here, and, winter could set in. Personally, I just don't see where 2 weeks is going to hurt it when we're doing something like this with the impact that it's going to have. To that end, I would like to offer a substitute motion that we defer this until October 4th.
I'll second that.
There has been a substitute motion by Councilor Litz to defer this resolution, or at least the decision on this resolution, until October 4th. It has been seconded by Councilor Entenmann. Any discussion on this item? Oh, it was Councilor Anderson Jr. My apologies, Councilor Anderson Jr. Any questions or comments, discussion?
Can I ask one question? The timeline isn't adding up for me. We've known about this for quite some time. I'm not sure that I understand why Mr. Donnelly only heard about it this afternoon. That's what's not getting it for me. And I realize it's that agreement between your business. Yeah, if you would, come up and answer it for me.
We originally heard about this actually several months ago. Hugh was kind enough to come over to our offices and discuss what they were planning on doing. We sat in the office and discussed it. At that point, if you know Blackhawk, it's a very narrow street. Algonquin is much wider. And at that point, Hugh and I talked about, along with our operations manager, Todd Miller, about the potential for a 70-foot easement actually up that street. And that's where that first meeting was left. We're okay with that. Then we had our meeting at Raven Industries here. Hugh, do you remember the date on that? September 1st, I think.
September 1st.
So, I mean, they've been communicating with us for sure. And then at that point, we kind of heard maybe what some of their ideas were, and that was fine with us. We were still okay with all of that.
Mr. Bailey, in spirit of, who was the email from?
Hugh.
So the email that you received at 2:37 today was from?
Yeah, Hugh and I have been talking today about this because our concern is just if you know that area, Blackhawk is a very narrow street. We have many semis coming in, making a left-hand turn there, making a right-hand turn onto our property. To come in and turn around to the back end of it is making that left-hand turn is difficult. And so what we asked him for would be if he could just simply defer employee parking on Blackhawk, just an internal thing that Raven did. They said, yeah. I said, well, I need to throw this up to my corporate office because a lot of our access, our decision on this, we never really knew that we had any problems until sort of just recently. And that's kind of why it hasn't been a delay in communication. Raven has been fantastic about that. I just want everybody to know that. But it has been an issue of access for us. And so that question got answered this afternoon. The easement went away that we originally talked about, which is fine. I understand the way they're doing it. It's right across the street from us. We see it. We're fine with that. We just needed to make sure that we would have access for semis turning left and right into our property. And one of the things that we needed to procure was making sure that Raven parking wouldn't be along that road, something they would decide internally. Hugh talked to his people. They were kind enough to allow that. At that point, my job is to bring it to my people and say, hey, this doesn't sound like it's going to be a problem for us. We're going to be able to work this out. Just unfortunately, I didn't get this until 2:30. And I'm not the landowner, but I'm responsible for that particular property. And so...
Okay.
Councilor, any further questions?
No, that makes it much more clear. I was not understanding why this conversation was so difficult.
Okay.
Thank you for...
Certainly.
I realize it was belabored, but I appreciate the detail.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Any further questions or comments from City Council in regards to the substitute motion to defer this to October 4th? Very good. If I could have a roll call vote on the substitute motion by Councilor Litz, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr.
Councilmember Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jameson?
No.
Litz?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
No.
Entenmann?
No.
The substitute motion is passed 4-3. Item number 30.
A resolution vacating the public right-of-way on South 9th Avenue from East 23rd Street to East 24th Street and the adjacent alleys as shown on Exhibit A.
This improved right-of-way is just south of the Avera McKinnon campus. The petitioner is Avera McKinnon. The vacated right-of-way will be used for future development. A utility easement will be maintained. A public meeting was held on September 8th. It was attended by 2 neighbors, and there was no opposition expressed at that meeting. Engineering has no opposition to the vacation.
Is there anyone here who would like to speak to this item, either for or against it? City Council, would you like to make a motion?
So move to approve.
Second, Litz.
It's been a motion by Councilor Anderson Jr., seconded by Councilor Litz to approve this resolution number 30. Any questions or comments? If I could have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
Thank you, City Council. That has passed 7-0. Item number 31.
A resolution vacating the public right-of-way on portions of West 28th Street from South Summit Avenue to South Grange Avenue and on the alley within Block 23 of Dennis subdivision of Blocks 9, 10, 23, and 24 of University Edition as shown on Exhibit A.
This improved right-of-way is on the north end of the Augustana College campus. The petitioner is the Augustana College Association. The vacated right-of-way will be used for future parking. The utility easement will be maintained. A public meeting was held on August 24th. It was attended by 14 neighbors. There was no opposition expressed at the meeting. And engineering has no opposition to the vacation.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to this tonight? Sir, welcome. Just state your name, please.
Thanks, Mayor Hugher. Tom Meyer with Augustana College, and I would just ask the City Council's approval of this vacating of 28th Street, and answer any questions that you might have.
Councilor Anderson, Jr.
And I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer this, or Chad. I drove through there the other day. Now, most of the homes that are on the north side of 28th Street or residences are owned by Augustana. Am I correct in that
That is
statement?
correct. There's only one house on the north side of 28th Street, bordering 28th Street between Summit and Grange, that is not owned by Augustana College.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Meyer, thank you. Yes, Councilor Litz.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did attend the second meeting here a couple of weeks ago, and it was well attended. There was 14 people from the neighborhood. I thought Augustana and the engineers did a good job of laying out what the plan was. And I asked at that time if there was any objection to it, and nobody came forward. However, the next day I had a couple of parties come forward. And we've provided additional information to those parties, and they've indicated to me that this has met their approval. And so I would urge my colleagues to approve this tonight.
Councilor Litz, thank you. Great job. Councilor Rolfing.
Can I parked on that when I was in school on that one. Can I get a parking ticket fixed that was on it? Oh, gee, okay.
Councilor Rolfing, that's also bribery.
Yeah, please, Mr. Rolfing, nothing about parking tickets tonight.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I would
Councilor
move approval, Erpenbach.
Thank you,
Second,
Councilor
Anderson.
Erpenbach. It's been seconded by Councilor Anderson, Jr. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, if I could have a roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Entenmann?
Yes.
Thank you. That has passed 7-0. Thank you very much. Item number 32.
A resolution of the City of Sioux Falls approving the preliminary plan of Diamond Field Estate Second Edition. The Planning Commission recommends approval.
This property consists of about 18 acres of land area. It's located east of South Dakota Highway 11 and south of East 49th Street. The applicant is Chuck Moss, representing Valley Investors, LLC. The City Council has seen this property on 2 previous occasions for the annexation and for the rezoning. The preliminary plan is the subdivision layout that shows the proposed street right-of-way and lots. And this property is proposed to be developed into approximately 54 single-family residential lots.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to this item? City Council, any questions, comments, or motions?
Move to approve Anderson.
Second, Entenmann.
Then a motion by Councilor Anderson Jr., seconded by Councilor Entenmann to approve item number 32. Any further discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Thank you, City Council. It's passed 7-0. Item 33.
A resolution creating tax incremental district number 10, City of Sioux Falls.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. Brent O'Neill, representing Planning and Community Development on this item. This resolution is related to new construction downtown, the CNA project that many of you are familiar with, owned by Al Schoeneman of the Schoeneman Lumber family. $25 million project going into downtown, going to employ 450 people and bring 130,000 square feet of office space to the East Bank. The resolution tonight is looking at creating a tax increment financing district. What this district will do is allow $4.75 million in eligible expenses related to this project to be reimbursed through the future increase in tax revenue we expect this project to generate. This will amount to about $400,000 per year in new taxes that can be used towards this purpose. For your information, the existing entities, county, city, and school district will receive their existing share of taxes paid on this property. The $4.75 million will be used for a number of things. The primary use is for parking elements related to the project, structure and underground parking. The River Greenway, certain site improvements, and fees associated with planning this project will also be eligible. Per state law, the Planning Commission reviewed this at their September 1st meeting and is forwarding on both a boundary and a plan to the City Council. And it's the City Council's request to the City Council to pass the boundary established in the district and then the project plan. On the next slide, I need to point out that as we've reviewed this project, this TIF is essential for the project to go forward, and it does meet some of the city's policies on guidelines as well as the state statute. It's been reviewed by the Downtown Sioux Falls Development Committee, and they've received a full endorsement of the project. The zoning is correct, and it meets a couple of the city's planning documents related to this area. As I mentioned, the boundary and plan approval, this has been divided into two phases. The first, just the establishment of the TIF district itself, and that's what we're asking the council to vote on tonight. That would set the boundary for TIF 10, and it also, again, per statute, asks us to establish a finding of blight in the area and a maximum value of the TIF districts within the city. We will be coming back on October 4th to have the council review that project plan, and that'll have kind of the details of how things will be implemented. We do expect between now and then that the developer will be doing some pre-construction work out on the site to get ready for the bigger project that will happen in October. On the last slide here is just a couple things related to the resolution that I wanted to have on the public record. Again, this is in your exhibit, but the boundary is up there on the screen. To the right is some of the findings of the blight in this area, and then also the statement about the taxable value within the city. The reason that's important is because statute says that no more than 10% of the city's total value can be within a TIF district. And so those stats are there, and we're clearly not even close at under 1%. Staff would be happy to answer questions, and I know there are several members of the development team here also that could answer any questions.
Is there anyone in the audience who'd like to speak to this item tonight? City Council, any questions, comments, or motions, please?
Move to approve. Litz.
Second, Anderson.
There's been a motion to approve by Councilor Litz, seconded by Councilor Anderson Jr. Any further discussion, City Council? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Councilmembers Erpenbach?
Yes.
Jamison?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Rolfing?
Yes.
Anderson?
Yes.
Brown?
Yes.
Intiman?
Yes.
Thank you. This passed 7-0. City Council, any other business items you'd like to take care of tonight? Thank you, Councilor Brown. This has been
That's the second list.
Seconded by Councilor Litz. All those, if we could just have a roll call vote, please. Thank you.
Councilmembers Erpenbach,
Yes.
Jamison,
Yes.
Litz,
Yes.
Rolfing,
Yes.
Anderson,
Yes.
Brown,
Yes.
Entman.
Yes.
This motion is adjourned. Thank you, Sioux Falls.